Hey you all, I welcome you all in the Part-3 discussion session for Chemical Reactions and Equation chapter of Class 10 Science. Yes, we are dealing with NCERT discussion. The elaborated NCERT discussion is this. Until now, we have covered certain part. What was that? Yes, the part is first one, chemical changes, chemical reaction, chemical equation, balancing of the chemical equation. Then we did the discussion of the type of chemical reaction. No, we didn't did this. We are just going to start with it. The discussion of types of chemical reactions. The major types are clearly given here. Combination reaction, decomposition, displacement, double displacement. And further, we have the various categories like oxidation and reduction. And the next part is the corrosion and the rancidity that we need to deal with. So in this particular part, we'll discuss these two main categories of this chapter, this type of reaction basically. Let me just take the very first thing, the major type of reactions, those we are just going to discuss. If we talk about the very first thing, that is combination reaction. The type of reaction is combination reaction. Exothermic reaction is also given here simultaneously. Similarly, another type is decomposition, and that also has another category which is given simultaneously is endothermic reaction. Then we have displacement, double displacement, and this double displacement has the simultaneous category of neutralization and then precipitation. Let me just move forward with the very first category, that is combination reaction. If you have gone through with your NCERT, you have seen an activity over there. A beaker is there, in that water is filled and there is calcium oxide. What that activity is showing? Basically, this activity is showing the reaction between calcium oxide. What's that calcium oxide? Remember, the name is quicklime, clearly given in your NCERT. Quicklime that's reacting with water. These two substances. What happened when this reaction occurs? What happens in this reaction is calcium oxide with the chemical formula CaO reacting with water H2O, and it's producing a single product CaOH whole twice. What's this? This is slaked lime. Hope you all know this is slaked lime. The chemical name for this species I'm also writing here, that is calcium hydroxide. How it is formed? In this activity, it is clearly given that you have calcium oxide, that is quicklime, reacting with water, and there's a production of slaked lime. The product is slaked lime, a single product. This is an example of combination reaction. Now you might be thinking why it's called combination reaction. I can simply say because in this case your quicklime calcium oxide is reacting with water, giving you slaked lime. Along with that, heat is released, and this is a reaction where a single product is formed by the combination of two or more reactants. That's known as combination reaction. So what's going on here? The same thing. Two reactants, one product. This reaction involves evolution of heat. Heat is released. The type of reaction is exothermic also. This is exothermic reaction. Let me write it once again. I'm just using the eraser to erase this. Just a second. Yeah. Right. So, exothermic reaction. Why exothermic? Exo, that represent outside. Thermic, heat. Heat is coming out. Heat is released. That type of reaction is known as exothermic reaction. Just note down this point. Just remember this point. I hope the combination reaction is clear. Basically, what happens in this reaction? Two or more reactants you are taking, these are reacting with each other and giving you a single product. So rather going to the long definition, you can simply say that when two or more reactants react to give you a single product, the reaction is termed as combination reaction. Another example, I can give you here carbon in the solid state combining with oxygen that's in gaseous state will give you carbon dioxide. Gaseous state it is. What type of reaction it is? Simple, combination reaction. And that also releases heat. So this is also exothermic reaction. Now, in this continuation, I will tell you that generally in such reaction where combination occur, heat is also released. Heat or energy is released. Wait a second. Heat or energy is released. Such reactions are exothermic in nature. Remember? Now, I have certain more examples. One of the example that I've already given you. This example, have a look on it. Carbon combining with oxygen, giving you carbon dioxide. Similarly, water is formed here by the combination of hydrogen. I'm writing here the name. This is hydrogen combining with oxygen. And what it is producing? Water. Right? Now, these are the combination reaction which are exothermic in nature. Is there any other reaction which is combination but not exothermic? Just recall. If you can recall, just think of it. Let me move for the next question. Have a look on this question. Wait a second. The question is saying, when an aqueous solution of slag lime is used for whitewashing walls, we observe a shiny finish on the wall. Yes, this is also a question, an activity basically there in NCERT. What they're saying that you have the aqueous solution of slag lime. And what you're doing, you are just applying that aqueous solution over the walls. It means this is used for whitewashing purpose. In the previous days, this was done by all the people. But nowadays, we are not using slag lime for the whitewashing. We are using POPs. We are using different type of paints. But yes, in the previous days, this solution was used for the whitewashing. Now the question arises, why wall acquire a shiny finish? What's the reason? In this case, you can simply write the reason for that. The reason is slag lime is calcium hydroxide. Let me just complete. Calcium hydroxide. It reacts with atmospheric carbon dioxide. When you apply on the wall, it reacts with atmospheric carbon dioxide, and in the 2 or 3 days, there would be the formation of calcium carbonate, and that gives a shiny finish to the wall, right? So this can be represented by the chemical equation that is representing calcium hydroxide reacting with carbon dioxide, giving you calcium carbonate and water. Is this reaction exothermic or is this reaction combination? No, this is not a combination reaction. So You will not give this as an example for combination reaction, right? Now, let me take the next part. Exothermic reaction, which are not combination. In the beginning of the discussion, I've asked you this thing. Is there any combination? Is there any exothermic reaction which is not combination? So here we have methane. This is a gas that is methane. The question is whether it reacts with oxygen. Yes, it will react with oxygen. It forms carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is formed here and water is formed here. Is this combination? No, this is not a combination reaction. But yes, it's exothermic reaction. Actually, heat is released here. The first example. This reaction can also be written as burning of natural gas. In your NCERT, this is given in this way. The second one, decomposition of vegetable matter. Generally, we think that decomposition reaction is endothermic, but this decomposition of vegetable matter is exothermic in nature. Basically, what happens here? The dead and decaying material, gets changed into a smaller constituent, that decomposition occur, and heat is also released here. So this is exothermic. Now, let me move forward, and here we have another example of such type of reaction. We have respiration, very well-known process that's going on in our body. This is going on in our body for energy formation. From where the energy comes in our body. The energy comes in our body by the process of respiration. In biology, we'll discuss this in detail, and even I'll tell you that this process of respiration occurs in the mitochondria of cell. Now, this respiration produces energy. The food that we eat, it gets digested. After digestion, the small species are formed. All the food gets changed into glucose that gets oxidized. So what happens in respiration? In respiration, glucose gets oxidized What does it mean? What does oxidized means? Oxidized means it is reacting with oxygen. This glucose gets oxidized to form CO2 and water. Along with that, energy is released. Have a look on this chemical equation. Glucose, the formula is C6H12O6, combining with oxygen, forming carbon dioxide. Water is formed, energy is released. The process is exothermic once again. Now, The turn is for next type of reaction, decomposition. This is the reaction in which a single reactant breaks down into two or more products. So thing to remember is single reactant, and that gets changed into two or more simpler products. The process is decomposition. Now, the question is, how does decomposition occur? Decomposition is breaking of something. This needs certain amount of energy to break that substance to form the new simpler substances. So I have an example, an activity of NCERT for you. You might have seen in your NCERT that there is a test tube, or simply the boiling tube is given. Once again, let me take the activity. Boiling tube is there in which something is there, and that something is ferrous sulfate crystals. These are green colored crystals of ferrous sulfate. These are heated, and it is advised that do not point the mouth of boiling tube at your neighbors or yourself. This is an important advice which is given in the lab. You need to just focus on others also, that they might not get hurt in the laboratory. So it is heated. What will happen? The green colored crystals of ferrous sulfate have the formula FeSO4 dot 7H2O. What that 7H2O is representing? The 7H2O is water of crystallization. Don't be confused. This is the amount of water present in the crystalline substance. So this is FeSO4 7H2O. What will happen when these crystals are heated? The symbol for heating can also be represented with the help of triangle. So rather you are writing heat, you can also represent it with the help of the symbol. Then what will happen? There is formation of FeSO4 separation, and water gets released from these crystals. Initially the crystals were green. Now crystal becomes colorless after heating. So is this the only process? No. Further, this FeSO4 absorbed energy gets changed into Fe2O3. So generally you can say, the general statement you can say, decomposition reaction is endothermic in nature. Endothermic means heat